What is in my vocal chain? Good question. I'm glad you asked. Canned answer. It 100% depends on the source material. I personally do not believe that. I believe that it roughly, maybe 20% depends on the vocal. 80% of the time you're going to use the same tools, and 20% of the time you're going to change those tools up to suit the vocal. You can create a stock vocal chain that you put on every vocal, and it's going to sound 80% better, and it's up to you to tweak your parameters to get that last 20%. So let me talk to you about some of the stuff that I put personally into my vocal chains. I'm working on the coolest track right now. It's from your boy Doc Prop. You heard him before. I mastered Project Grizzly. You remember that? Same guy. This tune is spectacularly 80s. And if you're anything like me, when you hear spectacularly 80s, all you think of is gated reverbs and plucky synths. Listen to this. Check this out. Freaking sweet, am I right? Alright, let me dissect this for you for a second. I'll just mute the instrumental track and we'll have a listen to what's going on in the vocal, huh? Now you say today, please don't go, please don't leave, I'll do anything you ask of me. Alright, breaking this down one step by step. He gave me a lead vocal and a double of the lead. It's not the same track. It is, it's two versions of the same line, but it's two different takes. Let's work backwards here, and let's talk about my reverbs and delays and stuff. So I have, because this is 80s, and what I'm talking to you about right now is the last 20%, the 20% that is not the same for each take. We're going to get to the standard stuff in a second. Because it's 80s, I have a reverb here that is a small plate, and I have the highs rolled off. That's right there, and it feeds into this gate here. Because gated reverb is the sound of the 80s. It's everywhere. They loved it, and that's their thing. A second reverby, delay-y bus that I have Timeless, and it's on stock analog tape preset, and I didn't touch anything. Okay, that's also going to a gate. After the gate, it goes to a high-pass filter, 1.6 kilohertz. The last reverby thing I have right here, another deverb. This is a hall reverb, and that goes into another gate, and that goes into another high pass. So with the reverbs in, I thought this was forever, and with the reverbs out, I thought this was forever, adds so much, doesn't it? And it sounds so spectacularly 80s. I thought this was forever, I thought you felt the same. Awesome. This is my lead track here. If you follow it up, it's being sent 4 places. The first would be the gated plate, and then the tape delay, and then the hall reverb. And the last one is just a bus that I'm sending it to trigger a multiband compressor, which is somewhere in here on the instrumental track. We'll get there, or if we don't, I'll talk about it another day. The lead double right next to it gets sent to these 3 reverb buses, but I don't have it sent to the side chaining thing because it's not necessary.
And then these are harmonies, and the harmonies are also being sent to the 3 reverbs. That really is the extent of the 20% above and beyond a standard, good, solid, correct vocal chain. Alright, let's get into a standard vocal chain for contemporary music. Go back to my lead. That's this guy. We're going to start right at the top. What do we got here? A low pass filter, cutting at 50 hertz. Why do you do this? Because really there's no vocals on the planet that go below 50 hertz. Even Barry White is going to be singing above 50 hertz. 50 hertz is sub frequencies. We're talking about below a kick drum. After that, here is a gate. You don't necessarily have to put a gate on every vocal, and there's some genres that don't call for it. But if you have a very busy song, or just you want a little extra control and make sure that when the vocal is not singing, there is absolute silence on the vocal track, you're going to want a gate. What am I doing? Am I doing anything fancy here? No, I fiddled with the threshold a little bit. You got to do that per vocal because every vocal is going to be coming into this at a different dynamic. I also changed the attack time to be significantly faster than it comes when you just turn this thing on. After that, a de-esser. Again, I didn't touch anything on this except for the threshold, and I turned it down until there was a good balance of S's within the rest of the track without losing too much, not getting lispy. Lastly, this is where the magic happens. This is Slate's virtual mix rack. What do I have going on here? Revival is saturation, a little bit in the top, a little bit in the bottom. FGN is a Neve style equalizer. I've pumped the gain on it. I've pumped the high just a little bit. I've chosen a few mid-band frequencies to boost. This is the 20% above your 80%. This is going to vary from vocal to vocal. You want to accentuate the frequencies that sound good and turn down the frequencies that sound bad. Sorry, I can't get much more specific than that. This is Slate's newest plugin. It's called the Monster. It is a emulation of an 1176 all buttons mode. It's really sweet. It's his newest plugin and I'm digging it. I actually haven't used it in a song yet. I'm very happy to be playing with it now. I love it. It's the classic vocal chain that has been used for decades. Is an 1176 hardware unit feeding into an LA2A unit. Now, I don't have an LA2A plugin. I know I could get one, I could get Waves, but I'm not a pirate. I buy all my plugins. So this will do. What do I have going on here? I have a moderately high ratio, 4:1. There's the threshold, that's dependent on the vocal. This is a fast attack and a slower-ish release. That is going to pretty well emulate what's going on in an LA2A. This is the magic. This is what you pay the big bucks for. This is why you go to audio school, and I think this goes a little bit beyond what some audio schools teach. Take notes. The last thing that's sort of tricky that I'm doing on this track is on the lead double. I have one more plugin beyond. By the way, if you notice, it's that same vocal chain on every single vocal track. I'm telling you, this is 80% of the work. Just putting it on, turning it on, and putting it in the right order. But this guy on the lead double, have a look at this. This is the Pro Tools Mod Delay plugin. And what have I done here? I've taken it out of sync because you don't want none of that. And I've turn down left and right to just be very, very fast delay times. Left is at 21 milliseconds, right is at 8 milliseconds, and I've turned the depth of the modulation up to 100% on both sides, and the rate is as slow as it can go. This is one click up from 0. So what has this done? Well, check this out. Let me solo it up.
I thought this was forever. I thought you felt the same.
Here, the thing is, they gave me a mono track. They gave me a mono lead double that sounded like this.
I thought this was forever. I thought you felt the same.
What do you think? Pretty sweet? I think it's pretty sweet. One more time, I'll just, I'll cut this out for brevity's sake, but I'm going to turn off all the plugins on the 2 leads, and I'll give you a before and an after. This is before.
I thought this was forever. I thought you felt the same. I thought this was forever. I thought you felt the same.
And how about with the space?
I thought this was forever. I thought you felt the same. I thought this would last a lifetime.
Pretty sweet, huh? Alright, so now on the instrumental, the 2-track. I know this isn't ideal to be mixing all these vocals to a stereo instrumental. You'd rather have all the individual elements, but look, you're getting paid to work on someone else's song. Don't complain, just do it. Because there's plenty of engineers out there that will take your job if you don't want it. So, what have I done to this instrumental here to make it sound freaking awesome? First off, I'll give you the instrumental with no processing on it. And now with everything in. Yeah, it sounds like I happy face EQ'd it. I actually did some interesting stuff with a multiband compressor that's sidechained to the lead vocal. We'll get into it. First off, 3 compressors in a row. This is Slate, this is Sexy. Get it and tinker with it. It's one of those plugins where you just turn it on and it sounds better. This is another one of those plugins that you just turn on and it sounds better. This is tape emulation. Next, we have EQ and some more saturation. Normally I would send it through my Neve over there, but you know, time. Then here we go with that multiband compressor. These 2 bands are actually being sidechained to the lead vocal, so that these duck out of the way where the vocal is singing, low or high, and it makes the instrumental quieter, but only in these frequency bands. It's not affecting the kick at all. It's not affecting the high end at all, and this is just a different, this is not sidechained to anything. This is just me tackling a little bit of the high end. Lastly, there's a mid-side equalizer. I'm splitting the mids out there, and I'm splitting the mids out there, just to make the instrument a little wider, a little more room for the lead vocal down the center.
I told you it was a super cool track. I'm sending it off to Doc Prop right now. I'm gonna say, you know, if you want anything reworked, let me know. But I like where it came out today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about my vocal chain. If you guys have a vocal chain, you know, do one of these things. Oh, and if you have any questions, you know, about engineering, mixing, mastering, recording, write them in the comments. Ask me. If I don't answer in the comment, maybe I'll make a video about it. If there's any videos you want me to make, you know what to do. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.